Hey everybody, and welcome back to Jim's Garage. In this video we're going to be having a look at a device that Asus sent to me. It's actually two devices and they both run the Hailo 10H chip. Now what that is an Edge AI device. Now before you turn off, this isn't kind of your typical LLM generative AI video. This is something like I've covered in the past with things like the Coral TPU. So this is a device piece of hardware. In this case you can either do it via USB-C or M.2. And it's basically something that can be used to do things like image-based detection, object detection within videos. So think about maybe people, animals, etc. in CCTV. It can do image enhancements as well. It can do voice to text and a whole lot more. Now this is the product that Asus have created around this chip. It's not their chip, it's created by Hailo, and they have a whole host of other examples as well on their public GitHub, and basically an API that you can use to use this chip for whatever you want. And spoiler alert, this device is really powerful and it's reasonably priced. You can also run some LLMs on it if you want, but it does only have 8 gigabytes. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the device. We'll have a look at the specs and then we'll dive into actually using this and showing you some examples. Full disclosure, the devices were sent to me for free. I get to keep them, but there was no money that changed hands and there's no control over the narrative of this video. So the first device we have here is the USB variant, which runs over USB-C. And as I mentioned before, both the devices run the Hailo 10H. This is the new variant. There was a 8H before, which you'll typically still find as part of an M.2 hat for things like the Raspberry Pi. Now this touts itself as being the world's first USB Edge AI accelerator. It comes with 8 gigs of LPDDR4 memory, and there are over 100 models that you can use pre-trained for this device. Now basically what this thing is the M.2 variant inside this handy case here, which allows you to plug it into anything that basically accepts USB-C. So that could be a PC, a laptop, or even a mobile phone. Now this thing does run on x86 and ARM, which is pretty cool. So you could plug this into both something like a Raspberry Pi or a traditional PC. And it also importantly works with things like Tensor, TensorFlow, PyTorch, ONNX, etc. The bits you'll care about really are on screen here. 2.5 watts power usage, 40 tops at Int4, and it supports most of the AI frameworks I mentioned before. Now in my testing, I've had no issue with connecting this over USB-C. It worked flawlessly. Just if you are on something like a Raspberry Pi, you do need to go and make sure that you're using the M.2 variant, and you need to change that to PCIe Gen 3. The USB-C port on the Raspberry 5 isn't fast enough for this device. As I mentioned earlier, this thing excels at things like object-based detection for certain things like CCTV, which I'll demonstrate later in the video. As you can see here, we're going up against the Google Edge TPU, which is something I've used in the past. I've used things like this dual Coral TPU here for my Frigate installation. And as you can see here, this thing just dominates it in terms of performance. Not surprising given the age of the Coral TPU, and it's still fine for a few cameras, etc. But if you want to get into the modern day 4K cameras and lots of them, then something like this device is absolutely what you're going to need. The other device that was sent to me is this one here on screen, which as I said is basically the other one just without the housing. So you would just plug this in traditionally into an M.2 slot and you would access it in that fashion. The statistics and all of those things are exactly the same, and through my testing I didn't notice any difference in the performance. So just choose the form factor that's right for you. Now as I mentioned, this is using the Hailo chip. This is not a product created by Asus. This is a chip manufactured by an Israeli company, and on their GitHub you will see a number of examples that you can use to get things up and running. You can either use these to run as benchmarks or examples. There's actually quite a few apps on here that you could just probably run out the box and be fine with, but it also gives you access to the underlying API, etc., and how to build your own bespoke applications. Let's have a look at the software that was provided by Asus for the testing of this video. I've got this running in Ubuntu 22.04. Now that is the officially supported version as far as I'm aware, and I did have problems running that on a more modern operating system, even including things like 24.04, 24.10, and even the recently released 26.10. Now I'm sure that the drivers etc. will be updated to support the new operating systems, but for now I think the easiest path is just to install 22.04. Now during my testing I've used this on both the Raspberry Pi 5 with the M.2 hat as I showed earlier, and I've also used this via the USB. The version I'm using here, just to make this video a little bit more interesting, is I've set up a virtual machine in my Proxmox cluster, and then I've passed through the USB device to that. You can see that here. And if we now go into the console, we can actually see the device in the console by running the ls-usb command. And here you'll see it here. So it really is as simple as just pulling down the drivers, going through that installation process, updating the firmware if you need to, and then installing the Asus UGen application, which we can find here. So when we load this up, we get a few options. As I mentioned, you can use this as an LLM, but really I wouldn't recommend it. With 8 gigs of VRAM, that really isn't the design use case. Maybe for some edge AI, it might be worthwhile, but really this thing shines when it comes to the audio and detection from my experience, and also some of the video work. Thankfully, the user interface is quite straightforward here, so all you need to do really is you can import or you can download a model. So if you click download, here are the ones that come bundled with it. I just used the Qwen 3 1.7 for my testing on this particular module, simply because from my testing, that's the one I'm most familiar with and seems to be the most performant. Once you've done that, you'll just select which one it is. After that, it will go and load it, and once it's loaded, you should be able to use this device and be able to talk to it. So if we ask it, for example, a bit of a childish riddle / joke, let's see what we get back. Now the answer to this should be a newspaper, but as you can see, it's kind of got the wrong end of the stick. So there might be some edge use cases for models this small, but don't expect any performance like you would get from, say, videos where I've done the Strix Hailo with 128 gigs, or maybe even things like the M5s that you'll see from the Apple devices. But anyway, it is nice to see that this is reasonably snappy for a USB powered device. Anyway, let's get on to something far more interesting. Now for the VLM, what we're going to do here is we're going to take an image I've downloaded. We've selected a model as well, and we're going to ask it a question based upon the image. So here, for example, I've got a picture of some puppies. So we'll open that up and we'll ask it how many dogs are in the picture. Actually, let's change that and say how many animals and what type are they. Let's see what it says. That's pretty cool. So that was pretty quick. You can see that it's managed to say how many there are and even had a stab at what type of dog there are. So if we try that again, we can open up another image I've got, and I'm just going to ask simply what's going on in this picture. Let's see what it has to say. Hopefully it's going to tell us that a ship is sinking. That looks pretty accurate. So again, pretty cool to see how good this device is, or specifically this model running on this device in terms of the VLM. So let's move on from this now, and we'll have a look at the Detect, which I've actually had probably the most fun with. And in terms of using this for a CCTV, this is the bit that's impressed me the most, because the speed and also the complex nature of the videos I'm going to show you in a minute, yeah, really blew my mind. So heading over to the Detect, there's quite a lot of things we can detect for. Now, most of the stuff that you can see here are just options for basically what it's going to do. So for instance here, you can see instant segmentation. It does visual detection overlays and optional object tracking, or we can do object detection with visual annotations and optional object tracking. OCR to detect code and text. So for example, typical OCR where maybe there's license plates and things like that, you might want to store those. That's what I currently love with my Unified Protect, because it can also pick out everybody's number plates. The pose estimation is good for whether you want to say what pose somebody's doing, so maybe an animal jumping or something like that, a person walking, running, all those sorts of things. And also then you've got the super resolution, which is just an image enhancement quality thing. So let's go for some object-based detection just for this demonstration. We'll click OK on there. Again, we're going to need to check which model we want to download. There are a number supported. I went with the Yolov 8M because I found that one to be the best in my testing. And then again, you can either open up a camera for a real-time feed here, or just to upload a file. I've downloaded some files simply because I think the files I've downloaded are way more interesting than what I'd be able to record on my CCTV. Here you can see I've got some videos. I'll pick the largest one just because that's the most complex. And if I click open, we should be able to see the real-time version here. You can see it's basically seeing lots of different birds and pigeons. It's also picking out a vase on top of this. It's also detected people, which is pretty cool. And it's doing this basically in real time, which is really impressive. So if we try it again with a more complex scene with people, so let's upload a file. This time I'm going to choose this scene here as well, which I downloaded. And this is in Newcastle on the quayside, which is a very busy place. And as you can see, it's picking out people, even moving at fast speed, even picked out a boat, even picked out a bench down here with varying degrees of accuracy depending on how complex the scene is. Lastly, I also picked out this scene here, which is probably indicative of something, I don't know, like a shopping mall or a train station, airport, whatever it might be, somewhere where you've got lots of people walking around. You can also see it's picking out things like handbags and suitcases, which again is really impressive. Now, I don't have massive experience in AI and object-based detection in CCTV camera, but certainly from my experience in using things like the Coral TPU, but also the Unify Protect, this appears to be leagues above in terms of the complexity of the model that's running on here, given the hardware that's under the hood. So you can imagine as you extrapolate this onto multiple cameras, you're going to have a much more vivid profile of exactly what's going on in there. Now, after a couple of weeks of playing with this device, where do I land? It's complicated. I think some of the initial thoughts I had on the device are true. I think it is a relatively powerful device, especially when I compare it to something like I'm used to with the Coral TPU. But on the other hand, I also think that there are probably better options for most people, especially home labbers. So for example, things like Frigate CCTV, which I use Coral, you can now use things like an Intel CPU with its onboard NPU. And that's going to give you everything you need, and it's also going to give you very good performance. We are in a crazy place now with pricing, and even though this thing costs circa $200, you can get things like a Raspberry Pi for a similar price with 16 gigs. I think it's currently 300. Who knows if that will stick? So obviously that is 50% more at the moment. But that does give you more flexibility. And from some of the testing I've done in the past around running LLMs and doing some basic inference on them, the Raspberry Pi pretty much beats this in every instance, apart from when it comes onto the things I've been demonstrating today where this thing does actually shine, and that's where it does the video and the object-based detection. This thing is multiple frames per second higher than the Raspberry Pi. So it kind of brings me back to sort of what this is useful for and who's going to need it. Now, after playing with all of the examples that are available on the Hailo GitHub, I'm still torn as to what I'll actually use this for. I think if maybe you're an AI developer and you are working with edge devices and maybe some robotics and things like that, then this is possibly a good device to play with. But I think if you're a home labber, there's better options like I've just mentioned. And also if you're just wanting something like a simple CCTV setup, then maybe buying into an ecosystem, something like the Ubiquiti lineup with their Protect. I've been really impressed with that, and although I love the openness and the open sourceness of Frigate, I must say having everything centralized, I don't regret moving to Protect. So ultimately, I think we're in a different position to where I used to be with the Coral TPU. A few years ago, that used to be an easy upgrade path to getting object-based detection on things like your CCTV. But now we're in a different position where new hardwares are available for those devices, and also we are in a place where the prices are significantly higher. So I think if you need it for a specific use case, sure, go ahead. This is a pretty decent device. But I ultimately think for most people, myself included, I probably would pass on this device. Anyway, let me know what you think about this device, whether you've been running one, whether you've been using one of the previous models, and what your experiences have been. Really keen to know more about how people are using these things. Anyway, if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.